Hello everyone and welcome back to another PM Studios C# programming tutorial. Today we are going to be going over for loops for our 6th installment within this video series. Again, I am trying to make a new different example for each object in every different lesson set so that you're not just redoing the exact same programs over and over again. Add a little spice to the life, if I may. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off with a couple ints. We're going to go t-units, g-units, solution, and we're going to set that to 1 right off the bat, and then total. And again, as I have mentioned in several previous tutorials before, you can put every single one of these on their own independent line and declare them each as integers, but saving space on the actual code itself by declaring them all on the same line under the category of integer saves time and space and makes it a little more readable. So that's the reason why I do that. I'm going to create a character do again. And folks, go ahead and get used to the do again character, because from here on out we are pretty much going to be doing looping so that the people don't have to restart the program every time they want to use it. So we're going to go boolean and set that as decision and equal that to true right off the bat. And then first thing we're going to do is going to go into a while loop, and this will indeed be our repeat loop. So decision equals true. Don't forget the double equals, because that is a comparison operator and not an assignment operator. And once we assign that, we're going to go solution equals 1. And that is an assignment operator, and the reason why is because when we run through this we want to refresh the solution to 1, because it'll only assign it there. And actually we could get rid of that right there, so we could just say solution and declare it as an integer right there, and then define it down here so that it's always equal to 1 whenever we run through the loop again, and that will save us some processing power as well. So console.writeLine. We can go, please enter the total number of units, and then we're going to do the, and then single quotes here, the n, if I can type it right, in NPR. Okay, and as some of you who are mathematically inclined probably have noticed, and even some of you who aren't necessarily mathematically inclined, we are doing a permutation calculator inside this tutorial series, and we will be coming back in another tutorial later in the series with which we touch on this and make it a lot more compartmentalized so that you can just slap on pretty much any other type of operation you want that's inside the realm of this. So you could also put in the factorial calculator from the Java programming series that I posted before this tutorial series, and you could also put on essentially any other type of equation that you wanted. So we're going to do t-units equals convert dot toInt16. And again, the reason why we do toInt16 is because the numbers that we're going to be working with aren't necessarily going to be that large. But if you wanted to play it safe, you could most certainly do a toInt32 or a toInt64. It's entirely up to you, but for the sake of this tutorial series, because I'm only going to be doing one example for you guys, I'm going to run it as a toInt16. Read line, and that will assign us an integer value through the use of a string, which is the only input method there is. So that'll be convenient for us, and we're also going to do another console, not constant, console.writeLine. Please enter the, the grouping of units from the total. Really not sure if I could phrase that any better. The R in NPR. There we go. You kind of want to put as much description as you can in a small space so that even if they don't understand what I mean by the grouping of units from the total, they can see the R in NPR. Oh, okay. Then we're going to do GUnits, convert .2 and 16 again, and we're going to do console.readline. Alrighty, and from here, this is where we're going to start implementing the other three variables that we haven't touched on yet. We're going to do total equals TUnits minus GUnits. And for those of you who are in math, you will know that the entire way you find permutations is that you take the total and you divide it by, or you take the factorial of the total and you divide it by the factorial of the grouping, and then you just multiply out whatever's left. So essentially what you do is you subtract however many, or you subtract up to the largest number in the grouping factorial. So that's why we do that, because what we're doing is we're taking out the grouping factorial up to the largest, and what we have left is what we'd multiply out. So just a little explanation on that. For int temp, and you could call this x or y or z or whatever you like, but I'm just going to do temp for the sake of it, because that's really all that it is a temporary variable. TUnits. So we're assigning temp to TUnits, which is the full value. So, and then we're going to do temp is, as long as temp is greater than total, temp minus minus. So what that does is it assigns whatever the largest value is to temp, and then it says as long as temp is larger than whatever this value is right here, and then we're going to run through whatever in the for loop and then subtract 1 at the end. So once we do that, we're going to do solution times equals, we're going to do temp. There we go. Alright, so for those of you who are confused by this times equal, it's nothing daunting. I believe I have done a plus equals in the past, but essentially what it means is solution equals solution times temp. And that is also why we always need to keep solution set to 1 whenever we reset the loop, is because if you don't, then it's going to go way out of bounds really fast. But if you leave it set to 0 whenever you loop through it, anything times 0 is 0, so you're not going to get anything in return if you do that. That's why we set it to 1 every time we run through the loop. We're going to go ahead and do times equals, save some computing space. Alrighty, and then we're just going to tell them what it is, and then we're going to prompt them to reuse it. So console.writeLine. The solution to your permutation is solution. And we're going to add a period at the end, and then close that out, and then console. Now, here's your choices here. You can either do read line to pause the program and have them prompt, or you can get rid of the read line and just do console.writeLine. Would you like to run this program again? Y or N. Alrighty. I'm going to close out the quotes, parentheses, etc. Got an extra space there. And then we're going to do again equals convert dot to character console. And I know I've done the to character in the last tutorial. Read line. Alrighty, and then we just need to throw in our if statement, and then we'll be good to go. Whereas I'm going to show you another way to do the if statement to save some space and time. Whereas last time we did the do again equals equals y, or do again equals equals capital Y. And then we plugged in, I believe it was decision equals decision, just so that it stayed where it was, or we plugged in decision equals true, so it would stay where it was. What we're going to do this time, just to make it so that we can get rid of that else statement, because it is kind of bulky that way, I'm going to change these to not trues. Okay, so we're going to say if do again is not equal to y, or not equal to capital Y, only instead of or, we're going to do and. So if do again is not equal to lowercase y, and do again is not equal to uppercase y, we're going to say decision equals false. Now the reason why we wouldn't do or is because say we enter lowercase y, it's going to see, okay, it does equal lowercase y, then it's going to run through the or does it equal uppercase y? That's no, and it only needs one false to carry on through and cancel out the program. So it would go through and set it to false anyways, even though we did set it to something appropriate. So that's why we do and, because we need both of them to return false to carry on, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Or, yeah, rather, both of them to return true to end the program. So, sorry if I confused some of you. Let's go ahead and run this real quick. As you can see, no errors. It's all hunky-dory. Please enter the total number of units, the N and the NPR. So let's go ahead and do 15. Alright, enter the R. We're going to do 4 for that one. And it says 32,760. If you guys want to work it on your calculators, or do it on pen and paper, or just look up the answer online, you will see that that is correct. So I'm going to go ahead and enter yes. And as you can see, it went through just fine. Do it again. Okay. Enter no. And it closes out just fine. Fantastic. Okay, so I hope you guys got a good general idea of how to use for loops here. I know it's not the most shining and intricate example of for loops, but I do want to just set the stage with this program, because we will be coming back to it in the methods tutorial, which I believe is episode number 9 in this series. Yeah, episode number 9 is methods. We are going to come back to this, compartmentalize it, and make it a little more snazzy. It'll probably double in length, but it'll become such a useful and functional tool, and we'll probably be revisiting it yet again inside episode 10, which is the cover over classids and method encapsulation. Wow, I can't talk. Encapsulation. So that's it for today's tutorial. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. And I hope to see you next tutorial.